I am Nate Sannel, and I play the bass.
I'm Faith Ann, I'm the singer, and I play guitar.
I'm Nick Johnson, and I play the drums.
It's going to be one of the most dynamic interviews.
Yeah.
Done.
Honestly, my favorite is when we get to travel any distance and we take turns on the Spotify list, because then you're like, I understand. All right.
Oh, that's why you play like that.
I feel like the blanket statement is indie, alternative rock.
I came from like jazz background, so it's a really active like right foot with the feathering on the kick drum.
Yeah.
And even when I play the rock style, I'll feather in between the big hits.
Everybody you play with has a little bit different style. Like as a bass player, when you're writing music or you're listening music, the rhythm section, we're holding it together. We're keeping everything steady. And a bass player a lot of times will look and listen for the kick drum, because that's what a lot of bass lines are written around, where the kick is. I actually write bass a little bit differently when we're writing new stuff. I actually write it more along Faith's vocals and her guitar track. So we've kind of figured out how it all works.
I feel like there's a whole interpersonal relationship that takes, like even like when everyone met, everyone is just like respectful, good human beings and just like got along without any like riffs or a drama or any like anything. But I think there's like a learning of each other that happens, like, and I feel like it kind of takes like about a year to kind of understand like how someone's gonna see something and like what kind of things, like, oh, he knows to look for that, and when he's playing, understand what I'm gonna sing, and he like, well, you know, everyone, and then everyone's working together to write songs. So that's when it really starts like clicking. We're just playing with a trio, but we're still like bouncing back ideas, like, oh, how about we try to do this instead, or like do this differently. I really like metaphors and just saying things in a witty way. I like wordplay, so if a song comes from something that I've brought to the table, usually it's written around like a catchphrase. If I started writing the lyrics first, like something that I got stuck in my head, and then the song gets built around that. Or it'll be like a chord progression that I've had stuck in my head, and then we'll kind of come together and work out other parts. Or someone will have a line that they like, and then another line, and we kind of piece it together. And even just recently we were talking like kind of writing songs off like a time signature, like, and then kind of, so I feel like you can kind of pick how songs get written, and they can happen on their own at the same time.
Yeah, sometimes we'll show up and Faith will have a new song, like pretty much done. And then we just have to figure out our parts. So she'll play guitar, she'll sing it, and we'll record it, and then we'll go home and listen to the recording and kind of figure out what do I want to do with that. It doesn't matter where you play, it's hit or miss. You never know what you're gonna get. Like what band we're playing with, or you never know what the crowd's gonna be. And that's kind of part of the thrill of this, is you don't know what you're gonna get until you show up and start. You don't know if the sound guy's gonna be good, if we're all gonna be on. Every one of these performances is like not guaranteed. And that's part of the thrill of it.
Market Days was a fun show. We've played the Bicentennial Square stage and the main stage. The thing I love about events like that is the little kids, because they spend most of their time around adults, and they get this idea that when you're an adult, you have to be an adult like this way. And then they get to see adults on stage, and oh my gosh, I could be an adult like that.
It's a supportive community.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like, if we see a band, we play with a band, like Faith's just saying, we play with a band that we like, we reach out to them and go, hey, let's go do a show together. And people do that with us too. And I think that we're all trying to help each other build up our band.
I love when my friends are there, and you know, it's very much like, I feel like I'm among friends when I'm playing, like fans that come repeatedly. You get to interact with them after the show, and I sell art at the show, so they, you know, you see someone's art they make, and you get a little bit of a peek into their brain a little bit more, and then they just heard me sing, and so it's always so nice. On the equinox, March 20th, we are releasing Route 2, which is an example of a song that had been a song before you joined the
First
band.
practice I showed up at, that's one of the songs I have recorded that I needed to learn. And
It's so funny.
We're just releasing it now.
That's funny.
Yeah,
was 2.5
and it's
years ago.
changed so much. It actually started in like 3-4 times, and then I like changed it. All those phases, like everyone kind of added something, and it turned. And on the recording, there's a saxophone, which we don't have a saxophone player anymore, but
It sounds good on the song.
it's always just like a snapshot in time of what our band sounded like. So it's cool.
I think that's one of the things you have to figure out when you're recording is, do you want to sound like you sound live, or do you want it to sound produced or even overproduced? So you must have favorite bands, and everyone's got favorite bands where if you go see them live, you have no idea what you're going to expect, because it's I think it used to be more common if you went and saw like the Stones or Led Zeppelin, you weren't hearing what was on the album, you were hearing them perform. So there's some bands that like to do that, and some bands that really just prefer to have the album sound. Yeah, you can get them where it's different. And I think we're kind of an interesting combo. We want it to sound like we sound live, but we want to enhance it because it's produced, but we don't overproduce stuff.
And that's why we released the live album that we have, because honestly, I feel like part of having my name in the band is because I'm kind of a character. Like if you come to a solo show and I'm feeling good, you're gonna get full faith. Like, you're welcome. One of my favorite songs to play is You're Welcome, because it's the first song that I've written vocals for where I'm using my vocals like an instrument and not just to sing. And it's like the first song that I've really got to put my personality into how I'm like written with my personality in mind. And then I would say like Temper, which I just mentioned also, because that's the first song that I wrote that the words aren't telling the story first for me. Like the music is telling the story. Like if you couldn't even speak the language, I feel like you would understand what I'm trying to portray by the music. And it's very influenced by my favorite band. Tool has some really heavy stuff, and then they have some like real like tribal stuff and real calming, and I like to do that. So it's one of those songs. I have really catchy songs that are easy to get stuck in your head, and then you come back and you sing along. So when you come to a show, you're usually gonna see a friend of ours that comes to our show often, that will be dancing and that will encourage you to dance also and sing along. So when you hear your family, I suppose.